This is an Aristocrat TV special report. We're coming to you to stress the importance of staying abreast of what our elected officials are doing in the communities that directly affect the Aristocrat nation. We are joined right now by Senator Troy Singleton. Thank you, sir, for joining us right now. So jumping right in, your Helmets to Hard Hat program, how would you say you've been able to measure the success of that?
Well, the biggest way we've been able to measure success is looking at the numbers of individuals who fought so bravely for our country on the battlefields that are now here working in meaningful, gainful employment. And for us, that's what it's really about. My background is in construction, and the Helmets to Hard Hat program is instrumental in taking individuals who served our country in the military and putting them in construction jobs to give them a career, and we're proud of that success.
Wonderful. Now, it's no secret that you've been an advocate for economic growth. Would you say that your small business loan program has been instrumental in bolstering that effort?
It has, but it's still a work in progress. We can't be satisfied by some of the gains we've had because we want to make sure we have a very inclusionary economic development agenda, and there's still work to do. So we're excited, but the race isn't over, and we're going to keep fighting to get more people involved.
Wonderful. And lastly, if there were a message that you could get to your constituents, what would it be?
The thing I tell folks is to stay civically engaged. We just had an election, but elections that happen every year here in our state. We cannot take one off because it's too important. Our democracy only works when we all work to improve it, and that means all of us staying civically engaged. So let's make sure we keep voting.
Wonderful. Again, we are here with Aristocrat TV. We're joined by Senator Troy Singleton. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother.
For such an amazing job.
Appreciate
and as a veteran, I do truly thank you.
Bless you. Thank
Absolutely.
you for your service.
Absolutely. Thank you. As a father of four, what would you say is one of the biggest issues plaguing our inner city youth, and how can we combat that?
I mean, education. It starts there. Now, obviously, you can work your way up from the holistic approach from prenatal care to, early childhood education, but we have to educate our young men in particular because most of our young men, by the time they get to the 4th grade, they're probably reading behind the levels of the other, ethnic groups, be it white, be it Latino, be it, Asian. So we have to make sure we give them a full and efficient education. We have to make that investment now, or we have to pay triple, double, whatever the price is later to incarcerate them or to rehabilitate them. So we have to make a major investment in education.
Now the people want to know, would you ever reconsider a run for mayor?
You know what, I'll never say never, but I'm very happy in my position as a state legislator, and the current mayor is a good friend of mine, actually a former employee of mine when he was a young man in college. Right. So I look forward to still work with him as a mentor and the future leaders of our city and community when it comes to politics and building our community.
Last question, what message would you send to your constituents? What platform would you say that you would have them get behind you on?
Well, hope, and as Barack Obama, hope is still here. We can't get lost in all of the rhetoric of, Donald Trump and being hate and divisive and, going at each other and looking at ways to be nasty to each other. We have to keep hope in our heart. We have to have faith that it is going to get better. We have to give our children hope and faith and inject hope in them so they can look forward to a future.
We are here with Freeholder Jerry Walker. Thank you for joining us this evening, sir. Appreciate it. Now, jumping right in, can you tell us what are some of the things that compelled you to start Team Walker?
Oh man, my community where I'm from, the density population, we have 3 housing projects in a row, big ones, low to moderate income. My grandfather, his name was James Pop Curry. He did social service work, so this sort of work been in my family over 75 years now. I've been doing it now for 25. My grandfather, James Pop Curry, been doing it for 50, so it's a family tradition.
Okay, wonderful. So with that being the case, what would you say are some of the largest issues facing inner city youth?
Oh man, the lack of education, man, that's my number one thing. That's my priority, that's what I stand for. I understand the importance of that, and I understand that that's what's gonna help our community get to the next step and go in the right direction. It's education. When you educate it, you make better decisions, etc. So, yeah.
Now, lastly, are there any plans to plant any more Team Walker community centers around New Jersey?
100%, man. I'm looking to expand in New Jersey. That's why I'm here with these brothers tonight. We're trying to collaborate and come together, man. You can't be a long range in this game. You have to have the team concept, and I understand that, being a sport figure. you know, I understand being together, that's the number one thing, and that's what we got to get to. We got to all work together in order for us to make this turn around, and I would like to have a center throughout the whole state of New Jersey, especially in urban situations that's suffering from lack of resources.
So we are here currently with Councilman Christopher James. Councilman, thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So jumping right in, you being born and raised and educated in Newark, New Jersey, what are some of the issues that you think are still prevalent up there that you'd like to see change?
So, you know, education as a whole, you know, making sure the students have what they need to move forward and get educated, and, you know, making sure the funding is there to make sure that kids get everything they need to be able to get a better life, get to the next level. With, you know, we have this charter public school issue, getting everyone together to make sure all kids, you know, it doesn't matter where you're at, if you're in private school, if you're in public school, if you're in boarding school, we all get the same education to move forward.
My last question is, if you could get any message to your constituents, what would that be?
So truthfully, get out and vote. You know, in urban communities, everyone's transient, everyone has some other things going on, but if you're able to vote, especially on local elections, as a city council member, as someone who's run the state party, that's where the decisions are made. You worry about the street light being out, you worry about street, you know, potholes and things like that. This is where you get the most effect. Everyone worries about presidential and governors elections. It's literally every election, every year. And in Jersey, we have we're stranger than other states. We have elections every year, June and November, and then with school board elections. Get out, get involved, and keep involved. Don't just vote for a president and think everything will be fine. Especially with this president we have now, we really need to make sure he goes, but we also need to make sure we have freeholders, we have council members, we have mayors who are with our agenda to move forward.
Joined right now by Assemblyman Jamel Holley. Assemblyman Holley, thank you for joining us.
How you doing? Thank you, brother, for being here with us tonight.
Absolutely. So jumping right in, being appointed the first African American to represent your district, do you think strides have been made to ensure that you are not the last?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a privilege and an honor to always be the first, but to whom much is given, much is required. And so it's part of my responsibility to ensure that the people that I continue to represent and serve, that their needs are met. And so when you have that type of commitment to those type of people who give you that responsibility of being the first, you are required to ensure that their needs are met. And so it's my responsibility moving forward that not I only meet those needs and try my hardest to make a commitment to achieve those needs, is that I bring up others coming after me to ensure they carry that message and carry that commitment over the mountain and make strides to make sure that we get everything necessary that we're faced with as a community, as representation that we are supposed to serve as elected officials, that those needs are met.
This was Aristocrat TV's coverage of the annual 2019 Democratic Cocktail Hour held at Cuba Libre in the world-famous Atlantic City, New Jersey. The purpose of our coverage tonight was to stay abreast of what our elected officials are doing in our communities that directly affect the Aristocrat nation. I want to implore all of you to please get out and vote. It's so important that we get out and vote. There's an old saying that goes, you're either at the table or you're on it. Again, I am Dwight Bazemore reporting to you with Aristocrat TV, where ambition lives.